का मारा हूँ, दिल से बेगाना हूँ, मस्ताना अजनबी हूँ, थोड़ा सा।
And for the first time in a Hindi movie, presenting Raja Tota.
हे ये कौन है?
तू इसे फिर अंदर ले आया?
ये हमारी फैमिली के बड़े खास मेंबर हैं।
कहते हैं मुझको राजा।
आप भी कमाल करते हैं अभी। इतने ग्रेट पर्सनालिटी को आपने बाहर पार्क करके रखा हुआ है। इन्हें तो यहाँ बैठ के राज करना चाहिए।
The making of Raja Tota.
In this film, a very interesting character is that of this parrot whose name is Raja. He's a great friend of Sanjana and he's a very naughty fellow.
I think is the funniest role. He's really great.
He's always there on his stand. Satya Prakash always has him next to his piano.
उनकी ज़िंदगी का ऐसा हिस्सा है जैसे आपके अपने बच्चे अपने घर का हिस्सा होते हैं.
And he's very fond of television.
24 घंटे टीवी देखता है तो कितना बैड इन्फ्लुएंस है.
He has this habit of always using these film names which he keeps picking up from these promos and these advertisements, and at the correct place he uses them. And that is something which Sushila hates.
हम साथ हैं.
And he's always punished, sent into the garden.
मुझे लगता है कि जानवर है तो उसको बाहर बगीचे में रहना चाहिए. भाई घर तो आदमी लोगों के रहने के लिए होता है. इस तोते का घर के अंदर क्या काम है? तो इसलिए मुझे लगता है कि घर से बाहर है तो अच्छा है. शंभू, मैंने कितनी बार कहा है तुझसे कि जनाब और इनके सिंहासन को गार्डन में सजा कर रखो.
हो मालकिन.
And while going in the garden also he has this habit of saying that I'll come back tomorrow. He just can't be punished. I mean, he's so there's no extent you can go. He goes on and on his own.
The best film that he says in the movie is Badalte Rishte. In one time, when you'll see it, you'll know it's a great punch.
The birth of Raja dates back to
Actually, this character was there in Hum Saath Saath Hai. If you remember, the whole family goes to Rajasthan in the Haveli. That's when we conceived this character. But then we realized that he was more like a prop in that film. He was more like a not helping us in the story. That's when we kept it aside, and fortunately he's there in this film, running throughout the film. He's there in this film because all of us know that animals and birds can sense goodness.
evolution of the 3D parrot.
Then the choice came, now how do we shoot him? Because you see, if you see films, you have a parrot there, and all that the parrot does is just opening a lip, and then we dub some sound into it. But the point came that you cannot shoot. The animal welfare people, we approached them, and they were very kind enough to tell them that don't get into it because you cannot harm a bird. I respected their opinion, and there are laws and all. Then what do? So we were in a soup. I mean, it's such an interesting character in the film, and then so we called them over, and by chance they said that if it is not real, if it's computerized, you can do what you want.
First time when Surajji contacted us and he said that is it possible for a parrot to be generated?
It sounded so exciting and wonderful that my first reaction was that we just have to do this character.
I wanted a Macau parrot, not a typical green parrot.
He said no, I want something very colorful, lively and things like that. And then we went into this whole research detail. He just presented me with this one photograph. This is what I want.
We saw so many films, Who Framed Roger Rabbit, we saw all of them, and then we grew with it. Since we are creating it computerized, we have to go for 3D format because it has to look real.
Our whole objective as animators was to make the parrot look as real as possible. So we got quite a bit engrossed in 100% photorealism. To an extent we completely forgot as an animators that the guy is supposed to act. And Surajji just came into the picture and said, oh hello, this is the parrot which is supposed to do a lot of antics.
He is not a typical Macau or a character you normally come across.
It's a normal parrot with extraordinary characteristics, because you don't find normal parrots suddenly out of the blue talking and making very sidey comments at you and pulling your legs and things like that.
Along with that, we have had him do lot of things. We've had him wear specs like Mr. Rajnikant of South, and we've had him take out guns and blow in the air, get hit by the ruler from Himani. We've had him sing Kaho Na Pyare like Ritik.
When Surajji used to narrate it, there's one thing about his narration is the first time, the second time, the 10th time, or even if you take the nth time, it's always the same. And I just noticed the part about him, you know, whenever he says Badalte Rishte, the way his eyes rolls up, the way his nose twitches and all. And I didn't have to look anywhere to find out the character to whom to represent. In a way, you can say Raja is a very, very naughty side of Surajji, which not many people might be aware about.
The next point was about his voice.
When we started initially, there was a lot of ambiguity whether what kind of a voice for the parrot should be chosen. Should it be a boy voice, should it be a kid voice, or should it be a parrot voice?
Of course, being a male parrot, we thought of giving him a male voice, but what about the expression? The most important part is the expression, the naughtiness. And there was no one better to do it than Meena Gokuldas.
Hi, I am honored and very proud to be part of this film and this group. राजा तोता बहुत clearly जानता है कि उसके दोस्त कौन है और उसके दुश्मन कौन है. जैसे कि हिमानी शिवपुरी, he's very cut to cut with her. And Sanjana, he's very, very protective about. When he realizes that she is falling in love, he even tells her,
We recorded her voice at a studio, and each situation was explained to her and she replied back.
Parrot type of sound रखते हुए थोड़ा clearly भी कभी-कभी बोला है. And I think we've tried to achieve as best as we could the voice of a parrot.
Of course, all the dubbing and all the dialogues were done much before, so that the lip sync and everything which had to be done with the 3D character would not be a problem.
We have done a lot of extensive research in terms of books. We've browsed a lot on the internet. We've also shot a lot of real birds.
Even went ahead and shot it at some zoo in Bangkok also to get the real reference. This is just to get the closeness of the texture, how the wrinkle is, what is the texture on the beak is.
Seen how their behavior is, how they look, how their styles are.
There have been a fixed set of 5 people constantly working throughout it. We had a separate team which modeled the parrot.
We had also had a team which was handling the texturing. Somebody was doing the rigging. Someone even specializing in as far as his behavior, characteristics and his expressions are concerned.
The third reference is of finally what the close-up of the feathers was. This is what we had done. We actually painted the feathers over here. This is the 3D parrot over here.
Eventually what we see in the film is one is a live parrot from Pune, from Mr. Jog.
राजश्री प्रोडक्शन के पिक्चर्स के मैंने नाम पढ़े सुने थे, मैंने देखे भी थे. मैं बोला ये तोता उसमें गया तो मेरा ज़िंदगी का जो ट्रेनिंग का मकसद है वो पूरा हो जाएगा. इसीलिए मैंने हाँ कर दिया और मैंने इतने अच्छे लोग वहाँ देखे. मैं बोला मेरा घर का जो मेरे घर के माफक ये जो तोता है मैं उनको ही देंगा.
So that's the real parrot which is being used for most of the shoots. The other is of course our digital parrot, for which we did a lot of reference. We had to make it look like the real parrot.
And the third is a dummy parrot made by Mr. Rajendra Gole.
It was a big challenge for me to make a duplicate parrot seeing an original bird. Actually this is called an miniature paper sculptures. These are commercially used in films. I took nearly 1.5 months to create these parrots.
In fact, he made 3. One full, second is a little shorter, and third is someone whom we could tie it on a cycle and do our cycling shots.
For shooting, we had to be very, very careful that it does not make a lot of difference that people realize, this is a CG parrot and that was a real parrot.
He's come out as a very interesting character in the film, and Crest Communication people have really worked very hard with me.
This is for the first time in the Indian film history that a 3D character is being created with a story line in mind.
It's been a struggle for more than a year and a half. We've conceived, we've had endless sittings. It's an evolvement of this parrot which has been very smooth.
And I think he's turned out really, really cute. I don't feel like I'm just the voice of Raja Tota. I feel more like I'm the soul.
There's something very important which I have to announce over here. is all the animal lovers and people around and all, and human rights and all, is no animals, birds or humans were harassed or tortured during the making of this film.
And I hope it sets a trend for all of us in future to shoot animals and birds, to create them in such manner without hurting them.